Hey everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria. And for those of you who don't know me, I have a Master's of Science degree in Human Nutrition, and I specialize in helping you to build a high functioning metabolism so that you can get and stay effortlessly lean for life while eating unlimited calories, but from the right foods. We're talking about a high carb, low fat, plant based vegan diet. So today I have a special guest on. You guys requested to hear from her. Her name is Keisha. She has lost over 50 pounds eating a high carb, low fat, unlimited calorie, plant based vegan diet. And she is here to share her story with us today.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Victoria.
Of course, of course. So we'll just get right into it, right from the beginning and, what your life was like prior to, finding the high carb, low fat plant-based vegan diet. And I do want to mention to everyone that Keisha was in my trial coaching program like group. I had requested some ladies to join up so that I could see how the test run of this of my coaching program would go. And Keisha volunteered, and yeah, so I'm just so honored to have you on and to have you share your story today because your transformation has been incredible. And I know when we first started working together in the trial coaching program, you were like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if it
Yeah.
was going to work. And,
Yeah.
and like, here you are today. You've been so patient. So, yeah, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. So basically, I have struggled with my weight probably most of my adult life. I've just always struggled. I've yo-yo dieted so many times. Anybody that knows me personally has seen me fluctuate so many times from being smaller to bigger, but mainly always bigger. I grew up like in the early 2000s, and around that time, a lot of the women that I would see in magazines and on TV were always super thin. And I was never like as a child, I was never like really overweight, like obese, but I was definitely more on the thicker side, throughout high school. So I was never really considered skinny. I always had a little bit of thickness on me. So what really changed is when I moved out from home and went to college. And I know we've all talked about the freshman 15, but for me, it was more like the freshman 50. But yeah, basically, like after because I'm on my own, so I'm just kind of eating whatever I want to eat, like a lot of junk food, a lot of fast food, and I gained so much weight, like it was crazy. Like I just yeah, and I think also, growing up in the early 2000s, seeing women that are like super thin, that kind of got to my mind mentally. So I always wanted to be like that, but I just didn't understand how to. I didn't know much about, healthy eating and things like that. Back then it was just a little bit different. There's so much more stuff out there in the mainstream. But yeah, like I gained a whole bunch of weight and I've really struggled for so long. And when I noticed that I started gaining a lot of weight, that's when I started doing the yo-yo dieting, and I would just do like different restrictions. I followed so many different diets. One of the main diets that I followed was like high protein diet, because anytime I would go on to like Google or whatever, and I would search, okay, how to lose weight. It's all about protein this, protein that, all about high protein, low carb, cut those carbs out. They like the mainstream for me back then really demonized carbohydrates, which is like what I've always been craving. And so I followed a lot of high protein diets. I did a little bit of Weight Watchers as well too. A lot of calorie restriction, very, very restricted. So I would lose weight, then I would gain it back, lose weight again, gain it back. It's like this whole binge and restrict cycle, something that you go over in your group. And it just makes a lot of sense because, I would restrict my calories to like nothing, and I'd be so hungry, and then I would just give up and I would just start binging, and then I would gain all the weight back, and then it just kind of keeps on going. So, yeah, like I have lost a lot of weight and gained it back many, many times in my life. And it's a little bit frustrating because I just want to like, just be like a normal sized person and just stay like that forever. But it's like, in order to see change, they're telling me that you have to restrict your calorie intake, you have to eat a lot less, you have to lower your carbs, you have to lower your sugar, and just exercise like crazy, do a lot of weight training. And that's basically what I did. And it just never really worked for me. I always end up gaining the weight back. And so, I did a lot of searching on the internet, and I came across, actually, first, before I got into the high fruit, I actually came across starch solution. So
Mm-hmm.
the first people that I came across was high carb Hannah, Plantful Kiki, and Healthy Emmy. And I thought, wow, like these girls are talking about starch and talking about eating a lot of potatoes and doing more of a higher carb style and low fat. So I'm like, I want to follow this. So this was basically after I had lost over 120 pounds, maybe about 6 years ago, and that was through like high protein, lower carb diet. And so my highest weight was 264 pounds. And then I got to 143 pounds, which was like the skinniest I've ever been as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hard for me to maintain that. And even at that point, I still wanted to be even skinnier. I'm like, you know what? I want to like try to see if I can get down to like 120 pounds. Why not? Let's just see how far I can go. And when I was following the low carb, like the high protein, low carb diet, like I couldn't get any lower than that. Like I would have to really restrict my calories even more. So then that's when I started searching for other ways. And then I saw Plantful Kiki and all of those starch people. And I'm like, okay, let me try this. So let me tell you, as soon as I started following what they were doing, so I started doing the 50-50 plate where you're eating, so you have your plate and you have 50% starch and 50% vegetables. So I started eating that way and I started to put on weight. And I wasn't even eating that many calories. I was probably eating about like 1,800 to 2,000 calories. And I started to slowly gain the weight back. Like it was crazy. Like I I don't know, like I felt better because I started eating more carbs,
Right.
but like the weight just, I guess like my body just like wasn't used to me eating all of those carbs all at once because I was doing low carb for so long.
Right.
And then as soon as I started doing the starch solution, yeah, like I just started to put on weight so easily. It was crazy. So then I started following that and I kind of played around. I kind of yo-yo dieted there too as well by doing like the potato reset,
Mm-hmm.
which it worked, but like it just wasn't like I just couldn't stick to it. But even though I was following like the starch solution style, I was craving sugar. Like I was craving fruits because I was following Dr. McDougall's diet, and he was saying that you can only eat like 2 pieces of fruit a day.
Yeah.
So that was hard because I was craving so much fruit, and yeah, like I was craving so much sugar, and then my skin, I never really had like a lot of issues with my skin, but when I was following that way of eating, like having like a starch meal in the morning and like just all starch and like barely any fruit, my skin started to break out a little bit. I would start getting some breakouts on my cheeks and on my chin, and I never used to really break out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, like it just didn't work. And then I was just on the internet searching for, and then I saw Freely the Banana Girl. And I just thought, wow, like this woman is like, she's so fit and she's eating like all this fruit, all these bananas. And like, I just really want to do that. And I also even like went deep, like I went on like a deep dive on the internet with this. And I watched all of the raw till four made me fat videos.
Oh,
Because
I
I just
remember those.
yeah, like I went like on a deep dive because I'm just like, hey, how is this possible? Like, how is she so slim and she's eating all this fruit? I just didn't get it because I want to be just like her basically.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like but she was like the first person that I saw doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I went deep dive. I watched all the raw till four made me fat videos, because I just really wanted to understand what was happening with those people and why they didn't stick to it. And I also watched her videos reacting to those videos as well too, and her giving the reasons why they're gaining weight. So I just thought, okay, maybe I should try this. I'm already gaining weight anyways, and I probably would have gained the weight either way because that's just how it works.
Right.
So like, let me just try this. And I started doing like all the bananas in the morning. Like I would do like a 10 banana smoothie in the morning, and then I would do more fruit throughout the day, and then I would have like rice or like potatoes. And the weight just I just blew up. Like it was crazy. Like I just went crazy and my weight just blew up. But the cool thing about this way of eating is what I've noticed is that a lot of times whenever I would restrict and I would go on a diet and then I would lose all the weight and then I would gain it back, I always gained a lot more than what I was originally. When I
Mm-hmm.
was following this, even though I gained all the weight back, I didn't gain more.
Right.
So I thought that was really interesting because like my highest weight before I restricted was 264 pounds. And when I followed this way of eating, I went up to about 252.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I plateaued for a couple of years before the weight started falling. But yeah, and then so then after Freely, I found you, then I found Durian Ryder, Natasha, and I see you guys are all like super slim and just eating all this fruit and stuff and have so much energy. And you guys all look so healthy. I'm like, okay, I just have to just do this. And like, I know that it's going to take a long time, but I'd rather just get it over with and just allow it to happen, just embrace the weight gain. Like it was definitely very, very hard to begin with because it's like, I already lost all this weight. Now I have to gain it back again. And then I was also afraid of what other people would think about me as well too.
Yeah.
Because I got so many compliments saying, "Oh, you're so fit, you're so tiny," and then like they see me like the following year, and it's like I completely blew up, and now they're not giving me those compliments anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really hard. And I would tell people that, oh yeah, I'm eating like a lot of fruit. It's like so healthy for you. And then they're just kind of looking at me because I'm bigger, right? They're just
Mm-hmm.
like, I really don't think you should be eating that. Like if you're
Yeah.
saying that it works, like why are you fat? Like so so I just like stopped talking about it. And then I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. Like I just had to really like focus on myself and my health. And when I did your coaching program, it really is nice to like learn more about the science behind everything and understand how like the metabolism actually works and why you shouldn't restrict. Um, I mean, the only thing that you should restrict is maybe your fat intake, right? Because you do
Right.
have to do something in order to see some kind of result.
Right.
So, yeah, like I did it for about 2 years. So I gained all the way back within like 6 months, and then my weight just kind of plateaued for like 2 years. Um, and at that time, I was eating maybe around 4,000 calories of lots and lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, lots of starch. And I did ride my bike a little bit for like a summer, but then like, I don't know, I just kind of got tired of riding my bike. I couldn't really do it anymore. It just wasn't really like my thing. Like I still kind of like to ride my bike here and there, but for me, I have to like find something that I really enjoy, and it's the only way that I'm going to stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also even in the past, so like I know like I've struggled with my weight most of my adult life, but I've also never really been athletic either. Like I will kind of do some activity here and there, and then I would stop doing it. Like I was never really consistent. I've always just been like a couch potato. Like I just never really wanted to do anything. And that's also part of why I've struggled so much with my weight. So now that I've really educated myself. Like I've learned from you and from Darian and Natasha about the importance of like just moving your body on a daily basis. Um, and also when I restricted, I was so focused on my aesthetics. Like I really wanted to be lean. I didn't really care so much about being healthy, but
Right.
I just wanted to be really thin and slim, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, I have changed my mindset and I'm only focused on my health. I know aesthetics is a thing, but like right now I'm just focused on living a long and healthy life and something that I can just stick to for the rest of my life. And I feel like high carb, low fat has really, really helped me. And since I've done it, like since like for 3 years now, I haven't binged, which is like a big thing for me. Like I haven't binged, I haven't went on this crazy depression where I would just start eating like everything. No, I've been really good. Like I don't feel the need to binge because I'm eating enough calories now. It's all coming from healthy fruits and vegetables, mainly a lot of fruits and, rice and like some sugar here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know, it's been really good.
It's like the freedom diet, you know.
Yeah,
It frees you from any other like diet program, diet protocol, diet dogma out there, and
yeah,
lets your body do what it needs to do in order to be healthy. It supports that element. And I just want to say that you look so healthy, your skin is like radiant, you're radiant.
thank you.
And your story, I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. We've all like before coming to like this holy grail like way of eating, we've done the yo-yo dieting because that's all that the mainstream pumps out, especially what you were talking about with the high protein diet. I mean, it's
Yeah,
still a thing. It's evolved to like this carnivore mess now, but
yeah.
it's it's like it's always there distracting people from knowing how to actually feed their body. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen with
Yeah,
everyone so we can take a look at Keisha's Instagram because she has been sharing her story on her Instagram account. Pull it up here. And I love your Instagram because it's so pretty.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, so her Instagram account is Getting Fit with KC. And just look at this. I mean, mouth watering. Who wouldn't want to eat these meals? Oh my goodness. Just
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. You got to write a recipe ebook at some point.
Yes, that's the goal
Yeah.
eventually.
Oh, so getting back to your weight loss then here, I'll show this um your pin here. So this is Keisha sharing her all-in story. So this assuming was you at the 264 pounds that you were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, that was me. Like, I was like 264 pounds. That was like my highest weight ever. Very, very, very puffy, especially in my face. A lot of salt, a lot of oil, a lot of junk, a lot of McDonald's, a lot of like everything. Mainly like a lot of junk food. I used to eat out a lot of pizza, cheese,
Mm.
and everything. This is like way before I went plant-based.
Hmm.
Um, so I was eating just like everything basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to have context with the pictures. I mean, you have a really good write up with it too. But just for people to like, hear this and then be able to relate to it, because I also
Yes.
experienced this too. My freshman year of college, I gained
Yeah.
freshman 15 plus. Like I went from
Yeah.
being like fit athlete to like a bit of a pudgy athlete at the time because I was playing sports, but then I was just like
Yeah.
eating all the junk, drinking alcohol, late night McDonald's. Like it was the worst I ever ate in my life. So I can totally relate. And that was when
Yeah.
I think I had gained up to, I don't know, 170 pounds or 80 pounds
Yeah.
for myself. And that was quite heavy. Like I had come from like 140. And that's
Yeah.
just, the power of junk food, the power of the high fat junk food.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
And so this was you at your leanest then when you were doing the high protein, low carb
Yes.
thing.
So this is basically like, so this was what was that, 3, 4 years? Oh no, this was like 6 years ago. Yeah. So this was like during COVID, right? So this was like before COVID, actually. And this is where I was following what everybody was telling me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mainstream, high protein, lower carb. Fat was also kind of on the higher side as well, too. eating anywhere between 1,500 calories to 2,000 calories and doing a lot of exercise, like over exercising. Well, I mean, maybe not over exercising, but like I wasn't eating enough to replace the exercise I was doing. So
Yeah.
to me, it was like too much for what I was putting in my body in terms of energy.
Yeah.
But this is where I was doing like all those protein powders. And I also do all of those pre-workout powders as well too. And it just, I was really tired and I was really depressed here. Even though I got to a pretty low weight, I still was not happy. Um, I had a lot of brain fog. Um, so I couldn't really think straight, and I was irritated a lot easier too. Like I noticed that about myself. So this was actually quite a dark time in my life, surprisingly. And people probably thought, oh, she lost the weight, so you should be so happy. Like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I really just wasn't happy. And even in this picture, like I thought that I just wasn't skinny. I wasn't skinny enough. And I was really trying to push myself to get even skinnier. Like I was just so focused on just my aesthetics and how I looked. I didn't care too much about my actual overall health.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I feel like so many people get sucked into this trap. They're either there now or like I got like this too, when I after
Uh,
I had gained the freshman 15, then I got interested in dieting and then it's like you just take it too far. You
yeah.
get on the high protein, low carb train, the calorie restriction train. And the thing about it is that when it comes to insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance, which I talk about a lot in my videos, is that
Yeah.
this is how you become insulin resistant, right? So
Yeah.
you were doing the high fat thing, right? So you probably had insulin resistance here. But
Yeah.
then here, somebody would assume, oh, well, she's insulin sensitive now, right? Because she lost all this
Mhm.
weight. But this kind of a diet, this glucose starvation restrictive diet is still programming you for the weight gain that was to come next. So it's
Exactly.
important to note that even though she's very lean here and aesthetically looks healthy or right or wherever you want to say it, you had programmed your body at this point to be a fat storer, once the food came back in. And I know you were talking about too how you couldn't push the restriction anymore, so you were looking for another path to take. And this happens to so many. And then I don't know if you had blood work at the time, but it would probably show like increased TSH or elevated TSH and some
Like
insulin
I said
resistance.
before, then here, I did not care about my health. I just cared
Yeah.
about my look. So if I would have done blood work, it probably would have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was so focused on just being skinny. That was the ultimate goal here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, so interesting to see your journey like this too, because I know so many can relate and then they don't understand, will they put this stage on a pedestal, right? Oh, I'm there, but then like it's unsustainable because you can't maintain this low calorie intake, this low carb intake, and then like you said with the exercise routine, it's like you're headed off a cliff, is what uh
Yeah.
is the, is the saying. Okay, so this is next. So this is your metabolic rebound, right?
Yeah, so this was basically when I started following Raw Till 4. And this was around the time when I was explaining to you before, when I found Freely and I found you and Natasha, because I also had joined Natasha's group for a little bit as well too. So she really helped me.
Okay.
I'm also part of Harley's group, so some of his things that he said also helped me. And it was actually really scary because it's like, again, I had lost all of this weight. So now you're telling me that I got to gain it all back? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, why do I have to go through this again? Like, I've gone through this so many times in my life. Why do I have to keep going through this again? So, but the good thing is, like, I actually, even though I was a lot heavier here in these pictures, I felt a lot better, especially eating a lot more carbohydrates. I felt like, I'm not like as irritated as I was before. I feel a lot happier. Like I definitely like was a little bit sad about, the weight gain. Like I really just want to be small, but like I knew that, there's just no sense in me, giving up at this point. Like just keep going because, you'll get there. Just, keep pushing yourself. Um, but yeah, like I actually felt so much better and I felt like brighter inside, if that makes any sense. My
Mm-hmm.
skin cleared up, so I wasn't experiencing those minor breakouts that I was getting when I was following more higher starch. And so once I started eating more fruits, like, things just got a lot better for me. Like I just feel so much more happier and I have a little bit more energy. So yeah. So that's what this picture is basically, is just that rebound weight gain that I went through.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, and the fruit too is it's magical because we are like simple sugar creatures, right? So
Yeah.
fruits really provide that sugar hit, whereas the starches they just have to be digested first, whereas the fruit you eat it and you just get the energy. So I really
Exactly.
love hearing like the difference your experience with the two, because a lot of people ask me, well, what about starch solution? It's the We are frugivores by design.
Yeah.
So we do
Yeah.
best on a fruit-based diet, but that's not to say starch is bad. It's just it's best to
Yeah.
have it at the end of the day. But I just want everyone to notice too, like Keisha created the metabolic damage here, right?
Yeah.
And if you would have went from this to just a high carb, low fat diet, your metabolic healing journey would have been different because you
Yeah.
were probably eating sufficient calories here, so your weight just would have went down from there. But
Yeah.
because she had this period of restriction, then she lined herself up for the metabolic rebound that was going to come afterwards. But the thing that stood out to me about you talking about your weight gain though is that it didn't go above and beyond where you were prior to
Yeah.
starting the diet. And that's
Yeah.
something important for the viewers who may be in the same situation as Keisha, where you're healing metabolically from restriction, is that you can expect the weight rebound on this diet to be much less than it would eating a different diet, eating, being all in on calories, but not controlling for your fat intake, for example. So,
Yeah.
this was Keisha too, setting the stage for the metabolic health that was being created here. So, in order for her to lose the weight, this stage is so necessary. The plateau stage is what I'll call it,
Yeah.
where your body is doing all of the internal work to, create the effortless weight loss that eventually comes out of becoming metabolically healthy. So, we'll click on your next picture here. And this is you currently.
Yeah, this is me currently. So I'm not exactly where I want to be as yet, but this is about 52 pounds roughly. And the few things that I've added in was a lot more activity. So I got into roller skating like 7 months ago, and you know the roller skating really, really helped me a lot because it's so much fun. I mean, it's kind of scary at first. Like, I'm still a beginner, I'm still learning. Um, but it's a lot of muscle conditioning because each roller skate is like an extra like 2 pounds on each foot. So as I'm picking up each foot while I'm skating, like I'm working a lot of muscles in my legs. And I skated like the whole summer of like last year, and that's when I noticed that the weight just started falling, still following high carb, low fat. Um, I did go a little bit lower in my fat. I went from like maybe 30 grams to like 10 grams of fat, which is something that you always talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And once I did that, it just like really just changed everything for me. And I have so much more energy now, and I can roller skate for hours, and it doesn't even feel like exercise because that's my main thing is, doing something that's fun that doesn't feel like exercising. Because even though before I went to the gym all the time, like I didn't really want to go to the gym because at the
Mm-hmm.
same time I was just going to the gym because I wanted to get skinnier, right? But again, I changed my mindset. I'm focused on my health, and I'm just focused on just moving my body every single day, doing something, whether it's walking, roller skating, Pilates or yoga, just something that, I enjoy doing. And I think that's the most important thing is just, really moving your body every day, but in a way that you enjoy doing it and not forcing yourself to do something just because everybody else is doing it.
Oh yeah,
So,
and that's
yeah,
what I tell people too. You have to find something that you can do for life, a way to eat within the guidelines of this diet that you can do every single day, a way to move your body that you enjoy and you've put it
yeah,
all together, uh,
yeah,
and have reaped the amazing benefits and the thing that people need to understand too is that like once the results start coming in, like they stick for life. Like
yeah.
you're just going to continue to, get where you want to be from here on out.
Yeah, like I said, I have not even binged once. Like I just eat like a normal person now. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
like all those other diets, I always binged every so often, and this time around, no binging whatsoever. I just eat when I'm hungry. I stop when I'm not hungry, like it's so easy and it's fruits. Like it's literally the ultimate fast food. Like it's so easy. Just grab an apple, wash it, and just eat it. So I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to do much about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you get used to like eating all the carbs and like knowing how much to eat, it's like smooth sailing because your appetite really regulates itself. So
Yeah.
then you know what to eat, how much, and then it's like you eat when you're hungry and then you stop when you're full and that's it.
That's it. Yeah. It's so easy. I love it.
I know it's funny because some people they just can't understand like or they can't believe how simple this whole thing is.
I
And
know.
even though we're like, the human body is a complex machine, once you know what to eat, it's like easy.
Yeah, like it's so easy. Like I just think everybody should really just like start eating this way. And what I've
Yeah.
also noticed now that I've lost some weight, now I think people are starting to like listen to me
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
would
Well,
talk about this all the time and I'm like, but I was like a lot heavier, so I feel like people were just like, what is she talking about? What is she talking about? But like now that I've like lost some weight, maybe now people can be like, okay, so this is what you get. Like, yeah, like you just eat the fruit. Like, we are frugivores. Like we were designed to eat simple fruits. We're not designed to eat all of this high protein. Like I get why they promote the high protein because, it digests a lot slower in your body, so that
right.
way you would eat less, but it's like not good for a lot of other things. Like I know you mentioned like it's not good for your kidneys and you're programming your body to store fat and all of this stuff and yeah.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize about protein is that if you are eating high protein and low carb, you're going to be turning that protein into glucose anyways via
Yeah.
gluconeogenesis, which slows it down your metabolism and programs you to be insulin resistant when the carbs start coming in. So a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, well, I lose all this weight and I'm insulin sensitive now. No, that's not the case. Like even though Keisha was able to drop weight here through calorie restriction, she was
Hmm.
going to put the weight back on when she started eating carbs again, just like her body reacted. So your case, your journey, your experience is such like a good example of like what happens when your body does a certain diet, doing the high fat diet and
Yeah.
then doing the low carb diet. Like sure you lose weight but you lose your health too, and
Yeah.
then the metabolic rebound stage, and then the healthy stage. You look so
Yeah.
healthy and you're just going to continue to get results from here on out. And I just want everyone to um, know that it took Keisha 3 years to get to where she's at now,
Mhm.
and that the metabolic healing path, depending on your past dieting history, and like she said, she's had quite a yo-yo dieting history and
Mhm.
has always kind of struggled with her weight, so she was kind of bound to have a longer time in terms of healing, but now it's over, like. And
Yeah.
I think that mastering that mindset, like, and that's where I'm just like so proud of you, because so many people like they don't go all in, and
Yeah.
it all starts with the mind too.
Yeah. It's
And
mental.
Right. And convincing, like getting rid of all the noise, all the like diet dogma noise, and just focusing
Mhm.
on what you need to do, knowing what you need to do, and then just doing it and being patient.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like you just have to just be patient and your body eventually will balance itself out. Like you just have to just put it all in, just let go of that diet mentality, let go of like the low carb, the high protein, and just focus on you. Focus on what works for your human species, which is a high fruit. And everything is just literally going to just balance itself out. And it's going to be different for everyone. Just because it took me 3 years does not mean it's going to take you 3 years. Like you were saying, like if I would have just did this way of eating when I was like 264 pounds, I would have lost weight a lot easier. But because I went through that period of restriction, it's
Mm-hmm.
taken me a lot longer, right? So if anybody is like super overweight and they're just eating like a lot of junk food, if they literally just lower their fat intake, start eating more fruit, but not restrict their calories, they're going to lose weight. Like they just like immediately, they're not going to have to go through that rebound weight gain that I went through. So I really just wish that I would have found you guys earlier, but you guys are like so buried deep into the internet. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like it's all about, like the meat and dairy and the high protein, but like it's really hard to like I don't even understand like how I was even able to stumble. I guess because I was watching like the Start Solution and that's probably
Mm,
why it recommended me Freely's videos.
right.
But like I don't even know like where I would be if I didn't find you guys, seriously.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I feel the same. I was deep into restriction when I first found Freely, and it
Uh,
was like a saving grace, that I even stumbled across her. And yeah, it's like the path to freedom really is what this is.
it is.
And Keisha keeps mentioning like a high fruit diet, low fat intake. So these are all aspects of insulin sensitivity. And in order to become insulin sensitive and get the effortless weight loss and the health that comes with it, you have to eat a high carbohydrate, unlimited calories. So we're talking about eating enough, sufficient
Yeah.
calories, right? Because if you undereat, you're just going to program your body for fat storage, and a low fat intake. And the reason why she keeps saying fruit is because fruit actually is so beneficial in terms of becoming insulin sensitive, because it doesn't require as much insulin, but you're still stimulating insulin via glucose. So fruit is half fructose, half glucose for the most part. It varies a little bit, but you got the fructose that's rebuilding glycogen and giving quick energy. You got the glucose that's stimulating insulin that helps to balance out the appetite and then provide energy for the muscle cells. So it's just like a beautiful little combination of energy that's hitting the body coming in fruit.
Yeah.
Plus fruit's high in micronutrients and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so if you guys are interested in continuing to follow Keisha, you can check out her Instagram. Are you on YouTube?
Not yet, but I am looking at, getting a YouTube started because I feel like I really have a lot to say as
You
well.
you really
So,
do, and I
yeah.
highly encourage you to get that going, because
Yeah.
yeah, you could help a lot of people. But I'm gonna wrap this up. Leave any
Yeah.
comments or questions down below. Thank you so much for coming on, Keisha. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Of course. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome, and I know you've helped so many by just sharing your story today. All right,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye.